All right. Topic number one. So we talked about the Cavs a little bit. 52nd win tonight, clinching a playoff berth. We saw the comeback win against the Celtics. And the comeback win against everybody else since. I don't want to go too deep on that because they're still winning games, but you might not want to go down 15 to everybody you play. It's not a recipe for success, but they're getting it done, man. We're clearly the best regular season team in the league. Question I have for you guys is, now that the playoffs are coming up, we're finishing out the season, All-Star breaks in the rearview mirror, which is really at the 2/3 mark of the season and not the halfway point anymore anyway. Question I have for you guys is, what are you looking for the Cavs in the playoffs? What's the ceiling, and how do you think this season shakes out, given what you've seen in the regular season? Noah, I let you go first last time. E, why don't you get us kicked off on your thoughts on the Cleveland Cavaliers and the state of affairs?
I am so excited, first of all, because I will say something that sounds unbelievable. And that is, we have yet to see the best that the Cleveland Cavaliers have to offer. We've seen them very good. We've seen them absolutely incredible for 3 quarters. I'm not sure that we've seen a complete game out of them yet. They know that they don't need to. They're playing really good ball. Their ball movement's incredible. Listen, tonight is a good example against the Heat that they're adaptable. The Heat were guarding the perimeter unbelievably. Even when we're making crazy passes, they had great perimeter D tonight, and we transition to getting the ball inside. Not to There's a play that stands out in particular because it wasn't to Mobley, it wasn't to Allen, it's to Mitchell standing in the paint, where their own center's like, what the hell are you doing here? We're finding ways to win, and picking up DeAndre Hunter is by far the best pickup. I mean, maybe Butler will prove to be great going out west, but Hunter added what we needed. He added defense, which we've seen a little from him, but come playoff time, we'll really see when it's lockdown defenses. He adds a shooting and a scoring threat, and he adds length for us. To say that we've seen the best that we've seen, that's just categorically false. I will say that I'm so tired of the national narrative, though. We're down big against Boston to start early. Jason Tatum does his little. He's the corniest player in the NBA, by the way.
I hate Jason Tatum. I said it on Monday. I'll say it again. His cockiness, his complaining, happy birthday, don't care. Jason Tatum is so corny.
It's like a made-up cockiness, too. It's like he knows he needs to do something. I don't know. It's so corny. But after that run that they go on, national media, and thank God I wasn't watching. I was watching our boys on local. But national media were talking about, oh, this is going to be a blowout, blah, blah, blah. Once we come back, that shifted to, well, they have a lot of hurt players. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. I think we're a better team. I know we're a better team. They can shoot lights out, don't get me wrong, but we have the scoring. What's nice about the East is that we know who the teams are. I don't think the Cavs are going to let us down. I don't think, frankly, Boston's going to be a letdown. I think that could very well be an Eastern Conference Finals matchup. I think the West is a different story, which I think we'll get into later.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to jump in second, though. I was going to kick it to you, but Erik and I have I have a different side of like the same Rubik's Cube when it comes to how I'm putting this together. Another way to say this team is so scary because we haven't seen the best, in my mind, is to say they can beat you in a lot of different ways. You know that in any given night over the course of 82 games that every single person 1 through 9 or however deep we go isn't going to play their best game that night. So to Erik's point, yeah, the ceiling is freaking crazy high. But the cool thing is I've seen Donovan Mitchell start a game 1 of 13 and watch the Cavs still bludgeon the team by 20 points. I've seen Darius Garland take the load and be that guy who's just so red hot and unstoppable. He looks like Curry at times. I don't want to go crazy. He's not Curry, but he's had stretches where he's just that fiery. We have a bench you have 2 6-man of the year candidates that ended up on the same team coming off the bench to lead a second squad that could start for 3 or 4 teams in the NBA. Sacramento would take everybody on our bench. You kidding me? There's just these different ways that you look up, and Oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. White kid from Virginia who comes off the bench at guard.
Ty Jerome? He's also mixed.
No, Ty Jerome. On a night where you're like, Donovan's not quite there, Darius isn't quite there, Mobley's not playing because of rest, Ty Jerome's like, cool, got you, 32, good night, drive safely. Like,
he's unbelievable. When we lose him, I'm gonna be so sad.
Oh yeah,
we aren't. We're not. The odds, they came out and already said that the odds are more likely for him to come back to Cleveland than even test free agency, because there's only like 3 teams that have the cap space to give him the most money, and it's like Utah, Charlotte, or something like that. Brooklyn. Like, he's not going to go play
that's
there.
True. I will say that the fans from LA sure think that he's an LA Laker real soon.
They always think everybody's a Laker.
Think everybody's going to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. So no, just to wrap mine up though, I'm thinking the same way as Eric. This team is like man, you stop our first option and second option and Mobley, and Jared Allen and Mobley don't have the big man game going down low. And that's the night Isaac Okoro goes for 18, 10, and 6 and plays lights out defense. I just don't know what to do with it. If you're scouting the Cavs, I don't know what to do. Noah, what do you think?
To quote the great Michael Jordan, the ceiling is the roof, period. The ceiling is the roof for this team. And I say that because they will beat you left, right, and center, like you said, John. We're talking a team going up against the defending champions on a Friday night in primetime, going down 22 points, 25-3 at the first TV timeout, coming back and winning the damn game. This team is special. Boston, you don't scare me. Indiana, you don't scare me. Miami, you don't scare me. Oklahoma City, you don't scare me. This team is the best team in the NBA. They have proved it night in, night out. And if you're sleeping on them, please do. Please do, because we'll beat you by 25, bend you over, and spank you on the way out. That's where I'm at. This team is the best team in the NBA, and I want to give myself a pat on the back for a second, because we talked a little bit about the Cavs in the preseason, and you guys were like, Eastern Conference Finals, this should be like the goal here. No, the goal is the whole damn thing. I said it then, I said it now, and I'm going to continue to say it until that ring, my part-time Cleveland Cavaliers ring, is sitting pretty on my ring finger, because it's coming.
I thought you were going to say, and I agree with you, because first of all, I never said that Eastern Conference Finals is the goal or the end goal. I agreed with you. It's championship or bust. But where I will give you credit is that you correctly said that Evan Mobley and unlocking him is the key to this team, and he absolutely has been. But I will say I don't think that Evan Mobley has grown, don't get me wrong. But I think the true key to this team has been Kenny Atkinson. I asked a friend of mine who's a basketball coach not too long ago. I said, what's the difference in this team this year from last year? And the players themselves had said coaching, but I wanted, from his perspective, a coach's perspective, to know what exactly is the difference. And he said that their pace up and down the floor is dramatically different this year.
It's high.
It is so much higher, and that makes all the difference in the world. Obviously, yeah, bringing in pieces, but the coaching that Atkinson he's a great offensive mind, and what's funny is that they can play defense when they want to. Look at the end of the game tonight. They're playing lockdown defense. That's what I come to expect. Things are going to tighten up when the playoffs come, and the game's going to slow down a little bit. But I have full belief in this team at this point.
You talk about pace. I mean, the team is 9th in the league for pace. They were like 21st last year.
Mm-hmm.
I second that.
Yeah.
I also want
to throw one more thing in real quick too, that I agree with you. By far and away the biggest piece is Kenny Atkins. What he's bringing to this team in terms of pace, flow of the offense. 100% agree. If I had to say what's a distant but relevant second, health, and everybody knock on wood.
That's true.
Garland spent a lot of time out. Mobley spent a lot of time out, and Mitchell spent a lot of time out last year. And Ty Jerome was out for like most of. So I do not for a second want to discount what the coach has done for this team. But if I could say, hey, what else contributes to their success this year? Like I said, I feel bad even saying it out loud, but everybody has remained relatively healthy for the majority of the season. No,
I want to add something real quick, and we can move on from that. But Evan Mobley is going to be the key for this playoff run. This team reminds me a lot in ways of that San Antonio Spurs team when Kawhi Leonard finally kind of started clicking and they beat the Heat before LeBron came back to Cleveland. Evan Mobley is going to have his Kawhi moment where he realizes, like Kawhi did, that, oh, I'm the claw. He's going to have whatever, oh, I'm the unicorn, or whatever phrase you want to tout on Evan Mobley, and that's what's going to push us. You see him play. Yes, I agree. Kenny Atkinson's the biggest piece of this puzzle. But you say him play a different brand of basketball compared to anything he ever does. He'll take the ball up the court, drive and dunk. He'll take the ball up at the three, shoot a three, pump fake it, go to the rim, dunk it. He has another level to his game, and as he continues to develop it, it's only going to get scarier and scarier for this NBA, man.
And I want to make one huge point to dovetail onto that, because you're absolutely right. The thing about Evan Mobley is that he unlocks our game in a different way, in that we can play small ball with Evan on the court, and we can also play with the two bigs on the court with him. Like, he adapts to both of those, which is huge, because when we're going to see different matchups, we're going to need to be able to be versatile like that, and it just unlocks a whole different dimension for this team.
It does. 100%. I saw something happen tonight when Jared Allen caught the ball middle of the paint, gave a little up fake with his shoulder, and then bounced a bounce pass behind his back in the paint to below the hoop to Mobley, who grabbed it and either had an easy lay-in or a dunk. Watching 2 7-footers move the ball like that within 5 feet of the hoop is something you don't see on every team either.
That oop from DeAndre Hunter towards the end of the game. I mean, he finds the spaces in the floor. That's the thing. Spacing's everything, and the off-ball movement. I know you want to look at where the ball's at, but when you look at what players are doing off the ball, that's the sign of how successful you'll be as a team. It's one of the reasons I'm a big Steph Curry fan. I know people hate him, but he talks all the time when he runs his camps about how, all right, if you don't have the ball, don't just stand there and wait for the ball. You should be moving. You should be moving off screens. You should be constant. And you see him do that. That's what we see at this Cavs team. They understand the spacing on the floor. Mobley can kind of slip into those areas and be there. I mean, I can't talk well enough about this Cavs team. I'm so excited.
I am too. And you guys brought up a couple points. You alluded to Steph Curry. You've alluded to, I'm not scared of OKC. Nobody said the Lakers. We did mention the Warriors now that they have Jimmy Butler, but we've talked a lot about the Western Conference. And I think in it's like this a little bit in baseball, but the season's so damn long, you kind of play everybody. In basketball, more than any sport for me, I watch Eastern Conference. I couldn't tell you a damn thing. I've watched 2 Western Conference basketball games all season where the Cavs weren't playing a West Coast team. But the Lakers are on a bit of a tear now that they got Luka. The Warriors look different with Jimmy Butler. We do have OKC with SGA kind of tearing it up, and they're nipping at our heels for the best record in the NBA. So I was going to say who scares you, but no, I already said, you don't scare me, you don't scare me, you don't scare me. So I'll rephrase the question. If the Cavaliers fall short of a championship this year, despite being the best team in the regular season, who's the most likely team to take them out, Eastern Conference or Western Conference?
It's whoever comes out of the West in my mind. And to me, it's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Lakers are fun right now. And I've had a blast watching ESPN, inflate the ego of the big markets as they do, because they are fun. I like LeBron. I like Luka. So it is fun to watch them. But the Thunder are just a different breed of deep, like we are. They are a different breed of young, like we are. And they have some experience in the playoffs like we do. I think the matchup of the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to flat out feed families in terms of quality, entertaining basketball in the NBA Finals. And if there is a team to knock them off, and there is not a team that's going to knock off the Cleveland Cavaliers, I speak in absolutes for a reason, it would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. Eric, I saw you shaking your head. What's up?
Yeah. You know what? Can I just double down on Noah, because I want to hear why you disagree and tell us why we're wrong. I think it's OKC too, because the 2 times we beat them, they weren't healthy. And when they had Chet, they beat us by 40 some odd points. Now, I know that's an outlier, but like we could lose to OKC when they're healthy. But why do you disagree?
No, I was shaking my head in that, number one, I think it's foolish to overlook Boston. We're talking about a 7-game series potentially. Let's not look too far ahead and say that, we're going to the NBA Finals. That's still a very good basketball team. That is a basketball team that did go up 25-3 and can move the ball and knock down threes like maybe no other team. That said, out of the West, here's what's interesting about the West to me. I think that it's all about how those matchups are going to line up, because you guys mentioned a lot of teams, but there's one team that you didn't mention, and that's the Houston Rockets. They have a young team that plays very quick. And LA Lakers, for example, that have LeBron that's pushing 65, they are not going to want to play a Houston Rockets team that's going to run them up and down the floor. And I know I said just a minute ago that the game slows down a little bit, but it's not going to slow down that much. So I think how these matchups end up when it's all settled and we see the playoff picture, that's going to determine a lot. And another thing you guys mentioned, I know they're not as deep as when they had their championship run, but you completely left off the Nuggets as well. They have by far, arguably the best NBA or player in the NBA. Listen, I don't think what you see in the regular season is indicative of that Nuggets team. They can turn it on, and they will turn it on come playoff team. So the West is far more interesting, in my opinion, than the East. The Warriors are certainly fascinating now that Butler's there. They can move the ball well. Butler, I think since the time he's been traded out there, he's plus 80, if I'm not mistaken. DeAndre Hunter's like plus 82, by the way. So sleeping on any of these teams, I'm more excited to watch the playoff matchups that come out of the West besides the Cavs matchups, because I think anything can happen out there.
I don't think I'm sleeping on them. I wanted to say that this will be quick though. Sorry. Hard agree on don't look past the Celtics. That's the team we're most likely to have to play, so that makes sense that they'd be the most. Hard disagree on the Rockets. I think they're like the Cavs a few years ago when we were young and scrappy and looked good, and then we're like, what do you mean we're going to a 7th game against Orlando and it's like falling apart? I don't think they have the staying power yet, but Houston in a year or two I think is going to be a juggernaut.
Should say, I don't think Rockets to the finals. I don't mean Cavs should worry about them. I'm saying a team like the Lakers that have to get those old bodies up and down the floor should not overlook a team like the Rockets.
Hold on, because I was going to give you a counterpoint on that. Because you're talking about the Lakers and their pace and that kind of thing. You compared them to the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets are 19th in pace. The Lakers are 22. They are in the same realm of pace. So I'm not really worried about their pace. And LeBron James is the most freakishly athletic person we have ever seen touch a ball of any kind. So to discredit LeBron and call them old when they also have Luka, who is a young star in this league, who is doing his thing in LA.
And fat.
I don't think that is a fair point to make.
Listen, I love LeBron and I love Luka. I hate the Lakers. So I'm definitely going to my point was not that the Lakers can't beat Houston. I'm definitely not saying that. My point is that you can't overlook anybody in the West, in my opinion. Whereas when you look at the East, it's not as wide open. You have the Cavs and Celtics on top. The Knicks, I don't worry about them. The Bucks, I don't worry about them. The Pacers, I don't worry about them. Pistons, Heat, we don't even need to talk about. Whereas when you look at the West, there's 4 or 5 potential teams that you can see upsets there. That was my main point.
It makes sense. The only other thought I had on this topic, and then we can wrap it up when I get your last thoughts, is I do still have like a boogeyman bump in the night feeling about the Cavs with these core players getting so, I don't want to say starstruck isn't the right word, but we have had situations where this team that looked unstoppable during the regular season gets stage fright in the playoffs and clams up just enough that stuff starts getting silly. Like,
it's a different team. It's a different mindset. It's a different type of basketball that they're playing. I'm not scared about it at all.
Well, that's a fair point, but to say it's a different team is crazy because we have literally almost the exact same rosters last year. So it's the same people.
They're differently coached. I mean, I do
differently coached. They're a year more mature. I mean, they're to claim that the lights are too bright, like Jared Allen said 2 years ago. He's 2 years more mature in the league with 2 more years of playoff experience since any of that.
I'd be more worried about Donovan not showing up, frankly.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We haven't seen him show up in a playoff game in his entire career for the most part.
Donovan and Darius are the two people where I'm like, I know, Noah, you said you think this whole season comes down to Mobley and in terms of us winning a championship. He's a big piece. But if Garland and Mitchell look like they did against Boston last year, Mobley could score 45 a night, and it's not going to be enough. So,
but here's the thing. I think that's where coaching sets us apart. If Donovan's not hitting and Garland's not hitting, we're not going to keep trying to feed them. The offensive game plan does not have to flow through the two of them. We want them to, but you saw tonight, Donovan had his quiet whatever it was, but he was a facilitator the most of the night. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I just want to go back to the Western Conference for half a second because, Noah, you pointed out their pace, but pace is just the pace stat is just the number of possessions a team gets in 48 minutes. So it's somewhat indicative in how fast they play, but it's not really. It's a flawed stat. I just want to point that out real quick.
You're muted, Noah. Well,
we will move on without Noah for now.
Yeah. Well, Noah's figuring that out. You make some really good points.
I'm back. I was pointing it out as a baseline.
Fair enough. Sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to start wrapping us up and bringing us home. I was like, I don't know how long Noah's going to be miming and lip syncing over there, but I
got one final point that I want to make while we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because I want to show you I already have the video. I have the tape. I went to the future of what the Eastern Conference Final is going to look like. Let me roll it real quick.
Okay, that's
for those
good.
of you listening and
that.
Not watching. It's a picture of a Donovan Mitchell cartoon spanking a Boston Celtic. It would look like Tom and Jerry, if I'm not mistaken.
That might be the best thing you've ever prepared for this show.